So not too long ago I had a mystery to solve, a mystery concerning some unknown Transformer toys that I found in my parents' loft. Just to recap, they were this little bad boy here, there we go, and also this second little bad boy. So my initial ideas, my initial guess for what it was, well, I thought it was going to be, these were going to be something to do with Gobots. I mean, there's not that many transforming robot toys out in the UK in the early 1980s. So that was my guess, and I searched the internet and it took all of about 5 seconds, and you never guess what? I was right. These, ladies and gentlemen, are Super Gobots. Now, I'm not actually I wasn't too au fait on the different Gobots lines. I knew what Gobots were or who they were to a certain extent, but I don't recall many of the toys. Obviously, these were bought for me back in the day, but I certainly don't remember collecting Gobots as a kid. I was mainly a Transformers guy. Just a little bit of history. So the Gobots toy line came in two forms. You had the kind of standard 2 3-inch style figures, which I remember, and you had these Super Gobots, which were the kind of 5-inch figures. Now, these were a combination of different toy lines coming out of Japan. The main Gobots toy line was produced in the UK and the US by Tonka, and they had taken the designs from Bandai. Now, these are also from Bandai as well. These Super Gobots are the repackaged Machine Robo line that was also released in the UK. I didn't realise that actually there was a bit of a haphazard approach to whether it was released. Bandai released them separately and then they re-released them linked with the Gobots line. I do remember, and I have seen the boxes actually at the recent toy fair in December in Birmingham. December seems like a long time ago. And I remember the boxes. I especially remember there was one for a Porsche 911, I remember that, and a yellow VW Beetle, which I definitely remember as a kid seeing and getting confused because obviously it wasn't Bumblebee, but then it looked like Bumblebee, and why were the two transforming robots? Who knew? So, why don't we review Super Gobots? Super Gobot number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is Destroyer the Tank. Now, Destroyer the Tank, as you can see, has a tank cannon for a head, tank cannon from a head, and quite simple robotic arms and legs. He didn't actually appear in the cartoons at all, which was interesting for me to find out, and actually didn't really have any appearance in the subsequent comics either, so he had minimal appearance in the official Gobots canon. He's a nice little piece. He's got plastic and he's got a nice bit of die-cast metal on the back and around the front. He has surprisingly weathered the storm rather well. Since I've been kind of doing a bit of work on these, one of the tank treads has actually come off, which is a real big shame, but that is kind of just where it's torn over use. But the plastic on the tank treads hasn't kind of aged or weathered at all, really. He transforms really well. I am a bit of a rubbish person when it comes to transforming old toys, mainly because I don't want to break them, but he's a bit stiff, but it's rather be stiff than be loose, wouldn't you say? So let me just transform him for you. Bear with me 1 second. And there we go, there he is in tank form. He did come with a separate arm-mounted gun, which has long since been lost. You could actually attach the Megatron-style arm cannon to this cannon, and you could have a massive cannon or a massive cannon head. Second on the list is the Space Shuttle. Now, Space Shuttle's actually got a little bit more backstory than our friend Mr. Destroyer the Tank. So actually, the Space Shuttle is a female. Yes, this is a character called Spay-C. Now, Spay-C in the cartoon was a female robot, which actually, for the early 80s, was quite unheard of. I think RC was the first female Transformers, but she wasn't around till the movie, obviously, around 86. But Spay-C was there right from the start in the Gobots cartoon. Now, this isn't the original looking Spay-C, because Spay-C looked very different in the 3-inch figure. This is a repurposed, reconcept design for a space shuttle that has been given the same name. Actually looks completely different. The Spay-C character was also really prominent in the comics post post Gobots TV series and featured quite heavily all the way through that comic run. Now this particular one was not released in Japan, so this was purely for the Europe and US markets, making it quite unusual in the sense that all the rest of the major Super Gobots were released in Japan first and then subsequently in other markets. Now this one I'm going to transform. If you saw my previous video, you know how rubbish I am at transforming this one. Just bear with me again. And there she is as a space shuttle. Talked about it in my previous video, but hardly any signs of wear or yellowing, which often you quite get on white Transformers of that era and white toys of that era. Lots of metal again in this one, especially on the back and on the wheels. And once again in really good condition. So if nothing else, I think I can say these are my experience of my first Super Gobots, and actually the Super Gobots have stood the test of time. Now, so there we have it. Mystery solved. They weren't Transformers, they were Gobots. Realistically, what other robots, transforming robots, were they going to be from the 80s? But hey, hey, hey. Nevertheless, I was quite happy that I got it right, and I've learned something along the way. About not only about Gobots, about the toy line, and about the fact that they do last a really long time and come out looking not too bad. I've had a look online. These are quite reasonably priced, about 40 quid, 40 pounds for one of these in good nick, rising to about sort of 70 if you've got a box, and I think the boxes are quite rare. Were you a Gobots fan or a Transformers fan when you were a kid? Which would you think was better, Gobots or Transformers? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what you see here, please like this video, subscribe and ring the bell, because I'll be doing a lot more Retro Toys TV videos in the very near future. Until then, and I'll see you again soon. Cheerio for now. Bye bye.